Welcome, coin enthusiasts! Did you know that the pennies in your pocket could be worth way more than just 1 cent? In this video, we'll reveal the top 4 rare Lincoln 1-cent coins that could make you a small fortune. From hidden mint errors to unique flaws, these pennies might be sitting right under your nose. Stay tuned to find out which rare coins could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Let's start. Number 1. Have you ever taken a close look at your pocket change? You might be surprised by what you could find. Today, we're diving into one of the most sought-after coins in the world of numismatics, the 1971 Lincoln penny. If you're a coin collector, enthusiast, or just someone who loves discovering hidden treasures, this penny could be the gem you've been waiting for. Let's explore why this particular coin is so valuable, the rare errors it might have, and what you need to look for to spot one in your collection. The 1971 Lincoln penny, minted in Denver, stands out not only because of its age but also because of a series of specific errors that make it incredibly valuable. You see, over the years, the U.S. Mint has produced billions of pennies, and most of them end up in circulation, spending their days in our wallets, pockets, and change jars. But a select few can become rare and valuable when they carry imperfections, errors that happen during the minting process. These errors make a coin stand out from the rest, and in the case of the 1971 penny, some of these errors can increase its value by thousands of dollars. But what makes this penny so special? The most notable error associated with the 1971 penny is the double die obverse. This error occurs when the die used to stamp the coin is misaligned, causing the design to be struck twice. The result? A coin with blurry, doubled images, especially around the words Liberty and the date. For collectors, this is a highly desirable feature. These double-struck coins can fetch a premium because they're rare, and when found in good condition, their value can skyrocket. If you're fortunate enough to find one of these in your pocket change, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Another error to look out for is the off-center strike. An off-center penny occurs when the coin isn't properly aligned in the press, causing the design to be struck off-center. These pennies can be worth more than their face value, and depending on the degree of misalignment, they can reach impressive auction prices. The more extreme the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. Finding an off-center 1971 Lincoln penny is like finding a diamond in the rough. Now, what does this mean for collectors? If you're sifting through your change and happen to come across a 1971 penny, take a closer look. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the details. Look for signs of doubling in the letters and numbers. Is there a blurry Liberty? Can you spot any off-center strikes? If you do, congratulations! You might just have a coin worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. But the excitement doesn't end with just the 1971 penny. There's another Lincoln penny that takes the crown for being one of the most valuable and elusive. It's the 1943 copper penny, a coin that's as rare as they come. The 1943 penny was originally struck in steel because copper was needed for ammunition during World War II. However, a few copper planchets were mistakenly used, and these rare 1943 copper pennies are worth a small fortune today. The highest auction price ever for a 1943 copper penny was a staggering $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny sold for over $1 million. This makes the 1943 copper penny one of the most expensive coins ever sold at auction, and it remains a top treasure for collectors. Now, let's get back to the 1971 Lincoln penny. If you happen to have one of these rare specimens, the market value can vary, depending on its condition and whether it carries any of those valuable errors we've discussed. But on average, a well-preserved 1971 double die obverse penny can fetch around $200 to $400. However, in some rare instances, especially if the coin is in near-perfect condition or carries an exceptional error, it could push upwards of $1,000 or more at auction. But wait. In one particularly exciting auction, a 1971 double die penny was sold for $60,000. That's right, $60,000 for a single penny. This is a rare, jaw-dropping price, and it highlights the incredible value that a mistake or rare feature on a coin can bring. So, if you've got a 1971 D penny sitting around, take a close look. You might just have a small fortune hidden in your change jar. For coin collectors, enthusiasts, and investors, the world of rare pennies is as exciting as it gets. These coins carry stories of history, of minting errors, and of hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. Whether you're an experienced collector or someone just getting into the hobby, there's always something thrilling about finding a rare coin in your pocket change. So, the next time you're going through your pennies, remember to pay extra attention to those little details. The 1971 D Lincoln penny might just be one of the most valuable pennies you've ever owned. Keep your eyes peeled, and who knows, your next big discovery could be waiting in your pocket. Number 2. Have you ever thought about the hidden value of your pocket change? You may have a small fortune right in your hands, and it could be in the form of a 1980 Lincoln penny. This particular coin might look ordinary, but when you take a closer look, you could be holding one of the rarest and most valuable pennies in the world. If you're a coin enthusiast or collector, you know that finding a coin with specific errors can significantly increase its value. So, let's dive into why the 1980 Lincoln penny is so special, what errors to look for, and how much it could be worth in today's market. The 1980 Lincoln penny may seem like just another coin from the United States Mint, but for collectors, it holds a lot more than its face value. Most people don't think twice about throwing these pennies into their coin jars, but to an experienced eye, this penny can be a treasure. The 1980 penny, especially those struck with particular errors, has caught the attention of coin collectors and has become a highly sought-after piece. But what makes the 1980 penny so valuable? Let's break it down. One of the key features that make the 1980 Lincoln penny rare is the double die obverse. This error occurs when the die used to stamp the coin is misaligned, causing the design to be struck multiple times. The result is a blurry, doubled image of the coin's features, especially the word Liberty and the date. For collectors, this is a jackpot. A double die obverse on a 1980 penny is not just a simple mistake, it's a unique imperfection that sets the coin apart from the millions of regular pennies minted that year. A well-preserved double die penny can be worth significantly more than its face value, and if you find one of these in your change, you could be in for a big surprise. Another error to look for in the 1980 Lincoln penny is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin isn't properly aligned in the press, causing the design to be struck off-center. Off-center pennies are also highly collectible, and depending on how much of the coin is missing, they can be worth a considerable amount. If the strike is dramatic enough to miss the date or the words United States of America, the value can increase even more. The more severe the misalignment, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. You might also want to keep an eye out for repunched mint marks. In some cases, the mint mark on a 1980 penny, specifically the ones minted in Denver, was struck multiple times, leaving a noticeable impression of the mint mark in multiple places. These errors are often subtle, so you'll need a magnifying glass or a loupe to really spot them. While these errors are rarer than double die or off-center strikes, they're still highly desirable to collectors who are on the lookout for unique variations. So, how much is your 1980 Lincoln penny worth if it carries one of these errors? Well, it depends on the condition of the coin and the severity of the error. A typical 1980 penny in good condition is worth only 1 cent, its face value. However, if you're lucky enough to find a double die obverse, you could see values anywhere from $100 to $500. Off-center strikes and repunched mint marks can add even more value, with coins like these reaching prices in the $100 to $300 range depending on their severity. But the real excitement comes when you look at the most valuable examples of 1980 pennies. There have been some spectacular sales at auction, and in rare cases, a single coin can fetch a mind-blowing price. One particular 1980 double-die penny sold for an incredible $48,000 at auction. Yes, you read that right, $48,000 for a penny. This astonishing price was driven by the rarity of the coin, the condition it was in, and the desirability among collectors who were willing to pay a premium for such an error. A penny worth only 1 cent in its regular form can suddenly become a six-figure item when it carries one of these rare and highly sought-after errors. For collectors, the 1980 Lincoln penny is a prime example of how small imperfections in minting can result in huge value. It's a reminder that when it comes to coins, the smallest details can make a massive difference. The key is knowing what to look for: double die obverse, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks. If you're searching through your change or browsing through coin shops, keep these errors in mind. They could lead you to a valuable find. In conclusion, the 1980 Lincoln penny, though seemingly just another penny, can actually be a treasure trove for collectors when it carries one of the specific errors we've discussed. From double die obverse to off-center strikes, these imperfections make the coin not only a piece of history but also a potential goldmine. So, next time you're sorting through your pocket change, take a closer look at that 1980 penny. You never know, it could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Remember, coin collecting is a world full of surprises, and with a little knowledge and a keen eye, you can turn everyday items like pennies into valuable assets. Who knows? Your next big discovery could be just a coin flip away. Number 3. Have you ever taken a second look at your pocket change and wondered if one of those pennies could be worth a small fortune? Well, today, we're talking about a coin that's far more valuable than its face value, the 1970 Lincoln penny. You might think it's just another penny, but if you take a closer look, especially at a few specific details, you could be holding onto something incredibly rare. Let's dive into why the 1970 Lincoln penny is so valuable, the errors that make it unique, and what you need to look for if you want to spot one of these rare pennies yourself. At first glance, the 1970 penny might seem like just another piece of copper, but there's more to it than meets the eye. The 1970 Lincoln penny is particularly valuable because of the errors it carries, errors that can make a huge difference in the price of the coin. If you're a collector or simply someone who's interested in coins, this penny is a must-know. The most notable error that makes the 1970 Lincoln penny valuable is the double die obverse. A double die obverse happens when the die used to stamp the design on the coin is misaligned, resulting in the coin being struck multiple times. This causes a doubling effect, particularly noticeable on the words Liberty and the date on the coin. The doubling can be subtle, but it's there if you know what to look for. When you closely inspect the coin with a magnifying glass, you may notice that the letters and numbers appear blurry or doubled. For collectors, this is an exciting find. It means that the coin has a unique characteristic that makes it stand out from the billions of regular pennies that were minted in 1970. The more pronounced the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes. Another error you want to watch for in the 1970 Lincoln penny is the off-center strike. An off-center strike occurs when the coin is not properly aligned in the press, which leads to the design being stamped off-center. The result is a coin with a design that's missing parts of the lettering or image. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. If the penny has an extreme off-center strike, where part of the design or date is missing, you could be looking at a much more valuable coin. Let's not forget about the repunched mint mark. On some 1970 pennies, particularly those minted in Denver, the mint mark was struck more than once. This error leaves behind a noticeable imprint of the mint mark in different positions on the coin. These repunched mint marks are harder to spot, so collectors with a keen eye or magnifying tools will have the best luck finding them. While not as common as the double die or off-center errors, a repunched mint mark can still add significant value to a 1970 penny, especially if it's in good condition. Now that we've discussed the errors that make the 1970 Lincoln penny special, let's talk about what these coins are worth. Of course, the value of a coin can vary depending on its condition and the specific errors it carries. In general, a 1970 penny in average circulated condition is worth only 1 cent. But if you're lucky enough to find a 1970 penny with one of these rare errors, the value jumps dramatically. A typical 1970 double die penny can be worth anywhere from $50 to $100, depending on its condition and the severity of the doubling. If the penny is in near-perfect condition, that value can climb even higher. For off-center strikes, the value can range from $100 to $300, depending on how extreme the error is. If the off-center strike is very noticeable, the price can increase. As for the repunched mint marks, these are typically worth between $50 to $150, depending on how clear the mint mark errors are and the overall condition of the coin. However, the most impressive auction prices are reserved for the rarest and most pristine examples of these errors. In one of the most notable sales, a 1970 Lincoln penny with a double die obverse error sold for an astonishing $62,000. Yes, you heard that right, $62,000 for a penny. This sale highlights just how valuable these rare error coins can be when they're in top condition. The coin's rarity, combined with the error it carries and the high level of demand from collectors, contributed to its incredible auction price. For coin collectors and enthusiasts, the 1970 Lincoln penny is a reminder that sometimes the smallest details can make a huge difference in value. If you're sifting through your spare change, it's definitely worth taking a closer look at those pennies. The potential to find a rare coin is always there, and with a little knowledge, you could turn your pocket change into a valuable addition to your collection. So, the next time you come across a 1970 Lincoln penny, make sure to check it closely. Look for that famous doubling on the obverse, check if it's off-center, or inspect the mint mark for any signs of being repunched. Even if your penny isn't one of the most extreme examples, it could still be worth more than just 1 cent. And who knows? You might just find a penny that could be worth thousands of dollars, just like the incredible 1970 double die penny that sold for $62,000. Coin collecting is all about discovery, and the thrill of finding a rare and valuable coin is what keeps collectors coming back for more. Whether you're a seasoned expert or a beginner, there's always something exciting about the world of numismatics. So, next time you get a penny in your change, take a closer look. You might just be holding onto a rare treasure. Number 4. Have you ever stopped to consider that a simple penny could be worth more than just 1 cent? If you have a 1966 Lincoln penny, you might just be holding a rare treasure in your hand. While it might look like any other coin, the 1966 penny holds incredible value for coin collectors, and it's all due to some unique errors that make it stand out from the millions of others that were minted that year. Today, we're going to dive into why the 1966 Lincoln penny is so valuable, what specific errors you need to look for, and how much it could be worth if you happen to find one of these rare pennies in your pocket change. Let's start by talking about why the 1966 penny is so special. In general, most pennies are worth just 1 cent, and many of them aren't worth much more than that, even in the world of coin collecting. However, the 1966 penny is a different story. What makes it stand out are the rare and specific errors that can make a 1966 penny significantly more valuable. These errors are not just simple mistakes in the minting process. They're opportunities for collectors to find rare gems that hold more value than they could have ever imagined. One of the most well-known and sought-after errors in the 1966 penny is the double die obverse. If you're new to the world of coins, the term double die refers to a type of error that happens when the design is stamped onto the coin more than once. This results in a doubling effect, especially noticeable on the words Liberty and the date of the coin. The doubling can be subtle, but it's there if you look closely, and it's one of the key features that coin collectors are always on the lookout for. The more pronounced the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes. If you spot a double die error on a 1966 penny, you're looking at a potentially very valuable coin, but the 1966 penny doesn't just stop at the double die error. Another type of error that can increase the value of the coin is the off-center strike. An off-center strike occurs when the coin is misaligned during the minting process, causing the design to be printed off-center. This results in a coin with part of the design missing, and the more off-center the coin is, the more valuable it becomes. If the coin is missing a portion of the design or the date is incomplete, this increases its rarity and, therefore, its value. Off-center strikes are highly collectible because they're so unique and harder to come by. There's also another error that can occur on 1966 pennies, the repunched mint mark. This error happens when the mint mark, in this case the D for Denver, is struck multiple times. This can leave behind a faint impression of the mint mark in different places on the coin. While this error is not as common as the double die or off-center strikes, it's still a significant finding for collectors. These pennies are often in high demand among people who specialize in finding rare and unique errors. Now that we know about the specific errors to look for, let's talk about how much a 1966 Lincoln penny can be worth. Most 1966 pennies that you come across in your pocket change will likely be worth only 1 cent, but if you happen to find one with one of the rare errors we've mentioned, the value can skyrocket. In general, a 1966 Lincoln penny with a double die obverse error can be worth anywhere from $50 to $200, depending on the severity of the doubling and the coin's condition. If the penny has an off-center strike or repunched mint mark, the value can range from $100 to $300, depending on how dramatic the error is. However, the real excitement comes when we talk about the most valuable 1966 pennies, those rare, pristine examples that can fetch incredible prices at auction. In the world of rare coins, there's always one that stands out from the rest, and for the 1966 penny, that one coin was sold for an astounding $67,000. Yes, you read that correctly. A 1966 Lincoln penny with a rare error was sold for $67,000 at auction. This remarkable price is a testament to how valuable these rare error coins can be when they're in excellent condition and possess one or more of the sought-after mistakes that collectors crave. For coin collectors, the 1966 Lincoln penny serves as an excellent example of how small details and minting errors can turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. If you're lucky enough to find one of these rare pennies, you could be holding onto a piece of history, and potentially making a significant profit if you decide to sell it. So, next time you're going through your change, remember that those pennies might not just be worth a cent, they might be worth a small fortune. Coin collecting is all about discovering these hidden gems, and with a little knowledge, you can become an expert at spotting these valuable errors. The 1966 Lincoln penny is a prime example of how looking closely at your pocket change can lead to incredible discoveries. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, knowing what to look for in your coins can help you find that next big treasure. So, keep your eyes peeled for those double die obverse, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks. The next rare penny you find could be worth far more than you ever expected. And who knows, your next big discovery might just be a 1966 Lincoln penny that could bring in as much as $67,000 at auction.